In 2010, Les Green left his native South Africa to become pastor of Salem United Methodist Church in Council Bluffs. In 2012, Les was diagnosed with cancer.
This is something I was totally unaware of, but while just seeking some help at the ER with what I thought was a severe case of constipation, a blockage in my bowel was diagnosed. But on the Sunday of that very weekend, they operated, and then a day or two later, literally on the day of my 60th birthday, while in hospital, the oncologist and surgeon confirmed that I had had stage 3 colon cancer. So that was certainly a shock to me, but I think most of all a shock to Sandy, my beloved wife, because Sandy was here in a new land, far away from home, far away from immediate family, other than the children who are here. And Sandy had to suddenly face the prospect of being alone in a new land.
Les and Sandy's 9,000-mile move to Iowa was inspired in part by their daughter.
Our middle daughter, Shaylin, I have 3 daughters. Shaylin was always a passionate swimmer, and so a competitive swimmer from the age of about 5 or 6. And when she finished high school, she took up a scholarship at Iowa State University to join their swim team. Of course, as is likely to happen, she then met and fell in love with a delightful Iowa farm boy, and I never came home. So we started visiting Iowa, firstly for her wedding, and then for graduation, and then subsequently for the birth of their children and our first grandchildren. And subsequent to that, I was asked if I was interested in a call to Iowa, and it seemed like the right time and the right thing to do to take up that opportunity. A number of people have asked whether it wasn't maybe God's will, a part of God's will, to bring me here to receive the treatment I got here, rather than to do so in South Africa. One area in which practices differ is that it certainly was not, in my experience of the healthcare system of South Africa, it wasn't an expected procedure to go through a regular colonoscopy, because I'd never had a colonoscopy in my life. If I had, clearly I could have been in a very different situation, because the surgeon felt and the oncologist felt I'd probably had that colon cancer for at least 5 years. Have your colonoscopy and any other health screenings. That can certainly prevent a lot of unnecessary suffering.
His cancer treatment began with surgery.
The surgeon reported back that they had removed about 9 inches of my colon, and they had found about 5 or 6 lymph nodes that were involved as well. I then began a process of chemotherapy, and the course that I underwent involved a 48-hour chemotherapy pump every 2 weeks. And that involved coming into oncology here at Jenny Edmonds and sitting around officially for 2 hours to get half an hour drip for the kind of preventative side effect medications, and a 1.5 hour first infusion, and then to go away with a pump, whirring away on my belt, in my waist, and pumping into a port on my chest. And things seemed to be going great until after the 6th treatment, suddenly my platelets wouldn't bounce back, which meant they weren't high enough for the next treatment. During this period, the next complication arose, in that I think obviously due to the drop in platelets, my whole incision site for the surgery herniated and burst open, which kind of put my innards on the outside, and yet they couldn't do anything about that because I was still having chemo. On the morning of my planned incision repair, my platelets had crashed so low that they actually couldn't operate. They gave me 2 infusions of platelets, but a decision was made while I was on the bed in the pre-surgery ward to go ahead with the surgery, not to repair my hernia, but to remove my spleen instead. And by the next morning, my platelets were rocketing up and have been the top level of normal ever since. So there was again a wise decision made. And ever since then, I've been in one piece, healthy and well.
Les shares his perspective on a question many cancer patients ask: why me?
I think why me is a question which comes to us all in those dark hours. It really does. But when I think of my life as a pastor, when I think of how many of just our congregation and even my congregation back home in South Africa and our community of friends, how many folk are also suffering from the scourge of cancer, I guess one has to end up saying, look, I'm just a servant of the servants, a servant of God. Why not me? Why should I be exempt? So, no, I didn't find myself asking, why me? I would rather look ahead to a successful outcome, as it were, of my journey, of that stage of my pilgrimage, and that is the restoration of health.
Les thanks all those who have helped make his recovery possible.
Yeah, certainly I think if anybody should be getting any kind of recognition after a journey like I've been through, it really needs to be the healthcare professionals. I was so blessed, as Sandy would testify, by firstly our A-team, Drs. Lomke and Dr. Okabum. I remember even on the day of my birthday, when that stage 3 cancer diagnosis was confirmed, when they left the room, we just felt both at peace and encouraged. And that's been the nature of the journey all along. My interactions with both doctors has been enjoyable and uplifting. And then, of course, the nursing staff, firstly in the ward, amazing care. Just personal and caring and professional and thorough. And then, of course, the ladies that I got to know at oncology, spending those 2 to 4 hours every 2 weeks, just totally caring, encouraging people. And I would say that the caring professionals have been God's angels. And by angel, I'm not talking about something mystical. The word angel means messenger, the one who represents God or who speaks on God's behalf. And it's through those ministering angels that I received God's encouragement and uplifting, and I believe my current state of health, because of the positive environment that was provided by the very special people in the Jenny Edmonds team.